So let's take presidential candidates out of the picture for a second. And let's start asking about the people behind the presidential candidates. Because every time you hear a presidential candidate, they tell you that their hands are tied. But who are tying their hands? Who is making them go against the same policies that they throw out to the world and say that they're going to run on and do once they're in actual office? So if we taking that step back, then we have to go to Congress, right? But then Congress will tell you the same thing about the hands being tied, or everybody wants to do their own thing, or they can't get on one accord about helping the American people, but they can get on the same accord for illegal immigrants. But yet, when it comes to Americans, their hands are always tied. So if we're taking a step back from presidential candidates and then we say, all right, man, we got to look at Congress. But then they give us the same terminology of their hands being tied, and they can't really get anything done, or they can't pass anything because it's always one side or the other, or both sides that can't come together and just find a common solution to help us. So who's actually tying their hands? Because it can't be us, the people. It can't be us trying to go against ourselves when we're still asking for the same help that we've been asking for decades, or damn near a century. So if we're looking at politics as a whole, we have to understand who's really in control of these people that are so-called in control of us. Because nobody has done exactly what they said they were going to do once they got in office. They nitpick, or they have to see what they're allowed to do. So at some point, being an American, being a citizen that has been taken advantage of time and time again, and the only time we ever seem to matter is in that 4-year span, we have to really look at these people for what they are. They're con men and women. They're simply people that love to get over on us and play the position of power. Nobody actually does what they say that they're going to do. They do what they're allowed to do. But then we still have to ask the question, who in the world is tying these people hands behind their back and not allowing them to do as they promised to the American people? But yet they can help every other country, every other nation, and yet those nations still be in shambles as well. Can we not see that we're always simply being played for fools? We're pulling up to the table, having the same conversations, and then we're walking away and leaving empty-handed. But we're fine with that because what they told us, it sounded good, or who told us made it sound good, or just because they were this person or this color, we accepted it. Why do we have to be so naive, so misinformed, that we constantly allow ourselves to be berated and taken advantage of just because we want to feel like we have a voice? Not actually have a voice, but feel like we have a voice. We're not dumb, we're not stupid. We do get misled by our hearts because we're not thinking all the time. Hell, we're not even listening all the time. We just like that somebody said something that triggered an arousal in us, or a response that we get so head over heels that we overlook them not doing the things that they've already promised. And then when these people get in positions of power, and I am talking about presidencies, Congress, governors, mayors, just politicians in general, or the government in general, they promise us so much but do very little for us as a whole, except divide us. And then tell us that they can't really do anything because the other side doesn't agree. When if we were actually doing our research and doing our part as citizens, we would know that it's the whole body of government that has been truly fucking us, that hasn't done anything but allow us to get deeper in a hole that one day we may never be able to pull ourselves out from. So can we please put all this aside and start looking at the bigger picture and the bigger problems that we are facing, so that we can actually come to a solution that benefits us as a whole, and not just one side or the other, and not just one people or the other, but us all as American citizens. We need each other. That's a fact. Whether you like it, whether I like it, whether they like it, or anybody else. Without each other, it is easy for us to be defeated. And right now, it's time for us to actually look within ourselves and understand that we are better together, we are stronger together. And they're going to constantly separate us so that they can conquer us individually or just in smaller groups. So again, take the presidential candidates away. Take what everybody tells you away and start looking, reading, and researching for yourself what is actually going on. And just go back into the known history that you have, and then go back and read the bills and the regulations and the rules that these people have implemented on us in society, and see who's really on our side. And only then can you make a sound opinion over anything that's truly going on in the society that we live in. Just think about it.